Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with another video.
Huh?
Where am I? I'm in my bedroom at my house. I have a 4-day weekend, so I'm going to be getting a lot of filming done in this location. I miss filming in front of my game shelf, in front of all my beautiful Luigi's Mansion figures. I want to show them off because obviously today's a Luigi's Mansion video. But, yeah guys, I haven't really, been here in a while. I haven't filmed here in a while, so I am very excited to get to film here again. I am trusting my crappy broken tripod to try and help me film this today, because I want to make these sets of videos that I'm recording here in as beautiful condition as possible. I don't think condition was the right word. Beautiful resolution as possible. So I've already done a video comparing Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which game is objectively better. And obviously I came to the conclusion that the first game is better in any objective terms, and if you either don't agree with me or don't know what I'm talking about, make sure to go and check out that video. It is on my channel for you guys to watch for your viewing pleasure. So, today I'm going to be talking about whether or not I think Luigi's Mansion will compare to either of these two games. I'm not just going to be comparing it to this game because it won. I'm also going to be comparing it to Dark Moon and where I think it will fall. Now keep in mind that this is going to be a mix of objectivity and subjectivity because of the fact that the game is not out yet, so we don't really have much in the terms of factual, complete, knowledge. We don't know every single little thing about the game. So I'm going to be using what we know as of this date, because I do not know today's date. Actually, I think it's the 19th. The 19th of October, as of this date, because that's the date I'm recording this, because we've been getting a lot of new information the past couple of days, so when I upload this, there could be loads of new information that we learn about. So, where will Luigi's Mansion 3 fall between Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon? Well, stay tuned and find out.
ZakPak, he's always there for you. ZakPak, only on YouTube. ZakPak, what will he do next? ZakPak, let's find out, 'cause it's on with the show.
So in terms of story, I think the third game will do quite well. I think it'll probably be better than both of these two games, to be honest, because the first game, while it had a decent story, Luigi won a mansion and the contest he didn't enter, it wasn't really shown well in the game itself. It was explained through dialogue with EGAD and on the back of the box, but it wasn't something that you really saw in-game. You didn't see Luigi getting the letter that he won the mansion. You didn't really see much of that. You just saw him going to the mansion for the first time. And while it lent to a really cool, ambiguous, unknown kind of origin story for the beginning of the game, it really didn't help it in terms of knowing the actual story and really getting to see it fleshed out. With Dark Moon, it kind of has the opposite problem, where we know the whole entire story, so nothing's really a surprise. We know King Boo's behind it the whole time, and, there wasn't really much oomph in the story. It's a very basic story, very generic story, where, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, 5 bits of something gets scattered among the world, you have to go collect them, kind of like Yoshi's Crafted World with the 5 gem things. Same thing here. You have 5 pieces of the Dark Moon, or I think actually technically 6, because of the bit that we get at first. So, 6 pieces of the Dark Moon, and, you gotta go get them. So, it's very much that traditional story of, oh, this amount of items is lost, so now you gotta go to this amount of worlds to retrieve those items, so now, there you go. 3 seems to kind of be a mixture of both. It seems to have a really engaging story, but it is also something where the story is kind of obvious. I mean, we know since from the beginning that King Boo and Helen Gravely are the people behind all this. We know that from the beginning. And that's not just from us knowing how the game's going to work because of spoiler reasons. That's also because you can tell from the beginning of the game, you know that they are involved. And it's kind of like, the first game, because it's got a really interesting story where it's kind of unique, but it also has elements of the second game because it's very much like that second game where there are a certain number of things you need to collect to advance, aka the elevator buttons. So it's really a mix of the two, and I think it's kind of clever. I think the elevator buttons approach is clever because it's not just, oh, you need these 5 or 6 things to restore order. It's you need to collect these things to advance. So the elevator buttons kind of function like the keys in the original Luigi's Mansion, except rather than every room you clear you get a key, now with every floor you get an elevator button. So it's kind of a mixture of both, and I think it's probably better than both because it kind of takes the good from both. where the story is really interesting. You know, Luigi and Co. win a vacation. They obviously accept it. They go to this nice hotel, and it changes. And I really like with the story, it's more engageable. Neither of the original two games do you really get to see the before everything goes down. You don't get to play Luigi creeping up to the mansion and him figuring out it's haunted. You don't get any of that. And in Dark Moon, you're basically just put into the story. Like, oh, there's all these things you need to collect. Go get them. Here, you go to the mansion, or sorry, to the hotel, and you find out that it's haunted, and you get to explore it before you find out it's haunted. So it's really, really cool. You get to see the story unfold in the beginning. So I think Luigi's Mansion will probably have the strongest story of the 3 games. Now here I'm only really going to be able to compare it to the original game because obviously the second game lacked portrait ghosts. So, how do I think the portrait ghosts will compare to the original game? I think that the portrait ghosts are better in Luigi's Mansion 3 because of the fact that, at least from what it seems, from what we've seen, this might not be indicative of the final game, but from what we've seen, they seem more developed. While, yes, the first game really had the interesting backstories that gripped you, that like really made you be like, whoa. The third game, even though they don't really have the backstories, you see the portrait ghosts more, and you get to see their personalities shine. The prime example of that is Morty. Morty we really got to see the most of in terms of his expressiveness. Now, you know, you see his dialogue lines, what he says, and how he helps Luigi out. So, I think that it seems like most of the portrait ghosts have personality. The one question mark I have, though, because like I said, we don't know everything about this game, so we haven't really seen the game in its fullest. A lot of the other portrait ghosts that we've seen extensive gameplay for, mostly being King McFright and Dr. Potter, we didn't really see much personality from them. Yeah, we saw them do certain things and act a certain way, but they didn't have any dialogue, they didn't say anything, they didn't really do much besides try to hinder Luigi on his way to getting the elevator button. So, I think that most, like, the ghosts definitely do have more personality, and that's why I say in the third game it's probably going to be better. But they don't have much personality in terms of interaction with Luigi, besides fighting him and causing trouble. They don't talk to him, it seems. You know, Morty seems to be the exception because maybe that's because he helps Luigi out. He's a good ghost. You see him later in the game. So, I think that in terms of overall charm, the first game might have the portrait ghost, but in terms of execution and overall design and personality, I think the third game will have portrait ghost. So it's probably kind of torn between the two. This one's going to be hard because I think this is another subject that we're kind of under the thing of we don't really know everything yet, and that's Common Ghost. I think both games were really strong with the Common Ghost. Even though I didn't like the goofy personalities of the Common Ghost in the second game, there was a decent variety in the kinds of Common Ghosts you fought. There was the regular greeny ghost, there was the slammer ghosts that were really strong, there were the hiders, the hidden objects, there were the gooey ones that like you didn't see until you like sucked them up and they appeared. You know, there were the sneakers that like were invisible until you strobe bolted them. So there were a lot of unique gimmick common ghosts, and same with Luigi's Mansion 1. There were a lot of individual themed ghosts. There was the regular gold ghost. There were the purple punchers that were the strong ones. The slammers that were the twirlers that were really, really strong. The Shy Guy ghosts where you had to suck off their masks and they had weapons to attack you with. The garbage can ghosts that dropped banana peels. So there were a lot of different kinds of common ghosts. And this is where I think the game might fall short from what we've seen, because we have not seen all the kinds of portrait ghosts yet. And no, I'm not going to talk about how we've seen too many blue ghosts yet. But here, the common ghosts don't seem to have that much variety. They basically seem to be copy and paste of what Dark Moon did. Now, there is an antenna kind of ghost with the orange ghost with the tongue that we haven't seen yet, so maybe he'll offer something different. But every other common ghost seems to be something that we've seen from Dark Moon. The goops, the blue ghosts seem to be copy and paste of greenies. The slammers are the hammers are resembling all of slammers. The names rhyme. They're red ghosts, they're big, they're strong, so they're basically the same exact ghost in my mind. The skinny orange ones are hiders. The purple ones are sneakers. So they basically, there's a cat in the game that I think kind of functions as Polterpup, except he's actually evil. So I think it kind of basically copies and pastes what Dark Moon does. So that's where I think this game might fall short, unless there's common ghosts that we haven't seen yet. So for now, because obviously it's before the game comes out, I can't say Luigi's Mansion 3's common ghosts aren't good. I can't say that yet. I'm going to say from what we know, it's not as good as either of these two games just yet. And especially because, like I did mention, you see a lot of the blue goop ghosts. You know, there's a lot of instances in all gameplay footage we've seen where Luigi's just fighting onslaught after onslaught of blue common ghosts. There's not many instances in either of the original two games where you just fought only the gold ghosts or only the greenies. You did see a lot of greenies in this game, but they did have a lot of those common ghosts to, also pushed in there, which also could be the case for 3. We don't know that yet. That's why I'm saying, at the moment, from what we know, 3 doesn't have much of the common ghost variety yet, which is what we're kind of waiting for. That's one of those things where we're still kind of scratching our heads where we're not sure. So right now I'm going to say Luigi Mansion 3's common ghosts are pretty not great. They're not horrible by any means. I mean, the sneaker ghost looks really cool, the cat ghost looks really cool, but there's not much new there. And like I said, there's the orange ghost that we haven't really seen gameplay footage of yet, which means there could be more common ghosts that we haven't seen yet. But like I said, from what we've seen, it's kind of not there yet. Alright, so this is a topic that I did not cover in the in the comparison video between these two. I don't know why I said Mario. The comparison video between these two. Boss battles. A lot of people were telling me to compare boss battles between these games, and I'll cover that really quickly. This game has better boss battles. These ones are generic, they're bland. The Spider one's pretty cool, the King Boo one's pretty cool, Bolas is okay, but other than that, they were just rinse and repeat, 3-cycle something, like the Ice boss, the Stair boss, even the Night boss. They're all do something 3 times and you'll capture the ghost. I think the only exception was the clock one, which was just a gauntlet. So there's nothing really creative there. This one, while some of them were creative, there were definitely some not so great ones. Neville, for example. Granted, he's the first one, so of course he's going to be the most simple, but it's literally just look away from him, wait till he yawns and suck him up. But I think this game definitely had more clever boss battles in terms of Chauncey. There's a more engaging fight. Rather than do something, wait for 1 of 3 times to suck up the Possessor Ghost, and then suck him up. And that's where I think this game actually really strives. 3 seems to be introducing, actually, elements of both. Because it seems like there's the main portrait ghosts that are like the first games where you fight them in a regular setting, you just fight them and capture them and you're good. And then there seem to be a couple that are like Dark Moon where they possess certain objects. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I initially was like, I don't like the possessor thing. That left such a sour taste in my mouth from Dark Moon that I just don't want it in 3. But since it's only reduced to big boss battles, I'm kind of fine with it. They seem to have gone for the more original game's approach and then kind of add a little bit of Dark Moon elements in it. And you know what? I'm fine. It appeases both audiences who like both games. So you know what? I think it's probably the best of the 3. And in my opinion, the fights that you have with each portrait ghost, since there's 1 on each floor, they're way more engaging. They're way more massive. And you know what? I think this game, at least from what I've seen, and from what I've played, because I have played King McFright's boss battle before, in a demo, I think that this game probably nails the boss battles better than both of these 2 games. The boss battles, from what, like I said, from what we've seen, look very engaging, look very fun. There's some puzzle elements to them, so there's a lot of intricacies to the battles. So I really like where the boss battles are heading. I'm usually diving into a lot of the individual aspects of this game, but I think I'm going to stay away from the boss battles because each one seems to offer some sort of unique puzzle, and I kind of want to stay away from that. So, yeah, that's definitely a strong aspect for me, the boss battles. I think Luigi Mansion 3 probably has the best boss battles. Graphics. This one's kind of obvious because we have a GameCube game and a 3DS game compared to an HD 1080p Switch game. There's really no comparing. Luigi Mansion 3 looks the best, and the fact that there's a brightness slider also really boosts my opinion on that, because for me it was all about the darkness, the lighting, the mood of the game, and once you use that brightness slider and set it all the way down, to me it's nailed. And to some of you guys, you're probably like, oh my god, it's talking about the brightness again, shut up. But here's where I'm going to agree with you guys. For you guys who like the lighting, who don't like the darkness, you have the option to not have it dark. That's the beauty of the game. It's kind of made for all fans, and that's what I wanted since the beginning. It's got to be made for all fans. I have said this since day 1. This game, Next Level Games, made a sequel, being this one, that was completely different from the original. So, they subsequently created 2 different audiences for this game. So, the third game had to blend both games together to make both audiences happy. That's how it worked. And it seems they have done that with the lighting. given that you can have it really, really dark or really, really bright, depending on what you want. And I am so, so happy with that. So, yes, that is amazing. Graphics of the game, brightness of the game, all is very good. I'm very happy with it. Next up, this will only be applicable to be compared to Dark Moon, which is the multiplayer. And I'm definitely going to give the upper hand to 3. 3, backtrack. It depends on how it, runs. Because Nintendo Switch Online, we all know, is not very good. So, that's not indicative of the game per se. That's more so Nintendo's online service that now you're paying for it, but they did not improve the quality of the service. But anyways, yeah, I think the online looks so much better. There's more modes for, for Scare Scraper. There's more kinds of things. There's a blackout mode that looks really, really cool. Boolossus is the main boss. So, it looks really, really good. I am so excited to play Scare Scraper with you guys. I'll probably stream it quite a bit with you guys playing Scare Scraper. It'll be loads and loads of fun. So, there's that. And there's also the fact that there's a whole other mode, Scream Park. Now, I'm personally not excited for the mode. It seems to be split 50-50. Some people are excited for the mode, some people aren't. I'm personally not excited for the mode because there's nothing really... None of those games really look fun to me. I don't see any real appeal to them, but alas, some people do, so to each their own. But I think Luigi Mansion 3 definitely has a stronger multiplayer, as long as, and they also have DLC coming, so it'll make people come back to it. I'm definitely buying the DLC. I don't care what it is, I'll probably buy it. If they have Scream Park and Scare Scraper separately, I'll probably only buy the Scare Scraper DLC, but nevertheless, I'm excited to see what DLC they have to offer, what's going to be different, if there's going to be new modes, new, content, or if it's just going to be, little, design changes or whatever. So, we'll have to see on that, but multiplayer is looking very strong with Luigi's Mansion 3. Replay value, that's looking the strongest out of the game. It's looking way stronger than this one, and way stronger than this one. Because it mixes elements from both of these, and I love it so much. So basically, there's replay value because there might be rooms that you missed, like the first game. Because with the second game, it very much held your hand. You explored every single place that could be explored. But Luigi Mansion 1, there were secret rooms, secret ghosts, secret everything, and there seems to be that in this game as well. So it makes you want to go back and replay it so that you can see those secret rooms and secret ghosts. It'll be great, I cannot wait for that, and it also brings back the Boo and Gem aspects from this game. So if you want to collect all those gems to get the secret reward, and I think getting all the Boos will also probably get you something, that this is it's so perfect. They blended it from both games, and honestly, Luigi's Mansion 3 nailed that. Replayability for this game will be huge, on top of the multiplayer that I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, replayability I think is very strong with this game, as long as they keep giving you reasons to come back. If there are lots of hidden things in the actual game mode itself, in the actual story mode, and if multiplayer is, will have long longevity, it'll be completely replayable for years to come, and I cannot wait. Music. Here's where I think this game falls short. I think the game doesn't have much in terms of memorable music. I've been listening to a lot of the trailers, a lot of the soundtrack, a lot of the things, and there's not much memorable there. That's the thing with both of these games. Both of these games, in my personal opinion, had a very distinct soundtrack. They actually were very close to each other in terms of how they sounded, with the exception of the new pieces that this game added, and the pieces that was unique to this game. And I really think that it's unfortunate that the third game didn't really utilize the soundtrack that these two games developed more. It seemed to be exclusive to when you were talking to EGAD, whether it be in his lab or when you're talking to him on the virtual Boo. It seems to be really exclusive to that and not within the tower itself. And I think that's where it falls short. Now, that could just be me being, I guess, nostalgic for, granted, I didn't really like this game, so me saying that this game had something the third game didn't, I guess, is probably a fair argument. And the music that we have heard, there were some themes that I did like. I liked Castle McFright's theme. I liked the ghost catching theme. That seemed to return from this game. But other than that, there wasn't any floor themes that were really memorable. I think they really should have taken what these games did and amplified it even more. So, with this game, you had a different theme for each mansion, but it was the same overall song, but a different melody. I think I'm saying that right, because I'm not a music buff. But, it was the same song, da-na-na-na-na, but it was a different... It sounded different. And I think they could have done that with this game, but maybe not just making it sound different, maybe offering variations in how it sounds. So it's I think they kind of did that with the ringtone theme for Luigi's Mansion 3. So, overall, I think the music could be stronger in this game. I think it's definitely a weak point of the game. It's not something, obviously, it's the music. It's such a little thing. It really, I mean, it matters, of course, but it's not going to draw me out from the game. So, yeah. Music, not the strongest point, but I can overlook that. So that's it, guys. That is my comparison of Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2 to the third game from what we know so far. Let me know down in the comments down below what you guys think, whether or not you agree or don't agree. Just let me know down in the comments down below. So, until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.